Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Objectionable podcast with Dr. Mohit Batra, the optometrist who had a vision to become a dancer, and now he's pursuing that vision while still taking care of his clients, his patients. Sorry, patients, not clients. I have clients, he has patients. And let's hear about this story. Welcome to the pod.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So, I guess let's start off right from the beginning. Born here, born in India. What's your story?
Born in Queens, raised in Long Island. So moved to Long Island at probably like when I was 2-3 years old.
Okay.
Born in Flushing Hospital. So shout out to my Queens babies out there.
Yeah, it's literally same story. Well, I was 2 weeks after, you were 2 years after, but Flushing Hospital to Long Island.
I think all these people listening can relate our age. That
Oh, absolutely.
born in Flushing, Queens. But yeah, been in Long Island since and been enjoying it ever since.
Nice. And so, where in Long Island? Were you a North Shore guy or South Shore guy?
South Shore.
Okay, same. So, what was your actual first passion? Was it optometry or was it dance?
No, so obviously brown household, law, medicine, engineering is your three best bets and probably your only bets, at least that you grow up with. But medicine was mine. Healthcare, I would like to call it, was more of the field that my sister and we both wanted to go into. As a twin, we kind of had to have, or we just had the similar aspirations. So medicine was definitely the route.
Yeah, I hear the crowd cheering for that. That must be a bunch of aunties, right? Yeah.
Maybe they were happy that we picked this route.
So, was there a type of medicine that you were really into, or like a certain dream? Like, I guess I want to kind of phrase it as like a dream possibly that you built or that was given to you, or maybe a mosh of two.
Absolutely not. I think it was one big field, this medicine.
Okay.
Now, what in medicine inspired me, I don't know. And that was a journey in a sense of finding what was my right path in medicine and in healthcare that I found I would do best in and that I would be passionate about. Because that's one thing, I tell all my, future undergrads that are going and pursuing grad school, med school, whatnot is, shadow, get the experience and make sure you're passionate about what kind of field in medicine you want to go into. Because burnout is real and there's going to be hard times as a doctor and you're going to have to think about, after a long day of seeing patients all day, why do I really do what I do? And why do I like that, especially in that field? So for me, medicine was just a big bubble that I kind of just was put into, and it was on to me to kind of discover what exact route I wanted to take.
Okay. And so what led you into optometry?
So let's take it back. So after high school, my sister and we did everything together from, kindergarten all the way up to middle school and high school, same grade, not grades. Maybe she was a little bit smarter than me. She's shorter than me, but she has a bigger brain than I do. But, we're kind of compared to all the time.
Yep.
And then in undergrad, it was basically a decision that we're going to go separate ways finally. So I went to Queens College. I went to a Macaulay Honors program. And strategically, so that we didn't pick we got involved in like pharmacy programs or like, the six-year pharmacy program or like the 8-year med school program, like 4 and 4.
Yeah, like the specialist programs.
Yeah, that you get into like right away after high school and you're guaranteed to go to school after you do your undergrad,
right?
Or like a 3+4 program in like Brooklyn or stuff like that. But I chose to kind of go more on the safer route, which was just go to undergrad, take the pre-med route, and go from there. So I decided to stay local while my sister decided to go to Stony Brook to pursue medicine. She knew she wanted to do medicine, and Stony Brook was that avenue for her.
Right, because they have a straight-through program as well.
Yeah. She didn't do the straight through program, but she just did that 4 year of undergrad, knowing that they have a good pre-med program.
Okay.
And for myself, same thing. But I wanted to stay local, and I got a full ride because of the Macaulay Honors program. Mm-hmm. So that was an incentive for me to go there.
Yeah.
And basically when I went there, Queens College is not the easiest on bio and organic chemistry or chemistry in general, and it was a pain in my ass. And so with Macaulay Honors, I have to maintain a 3.5 GPA. And being amongst all that, living locally and doing my other things that I was passionate about, I had to really work hard to maintain my 3.5 GPA. So it's funny because my major was economics. Okay, so I did pre-med, but my major was economics. I love business. I love stats. I love the economic kind of standpoint of things.
Like the playing around with the markets where it's like, if this happens in Brazil, this
supply
happens
and demand, and maybe I'm not as fine-tuned as I wish I could be now, but it definitely helped boost my GPA in a certain extent.
Same. I was thinking of a 3-2 engineering program in college and then switched to economics. I was like, I'm out. I can't do this much math.
Yeah, and so I had to balance accounting, stats, economics with pre-med.
Okay.
And my junior year of college, I did it really bad at, I think I got like a 48 on my organic chemistry one exam. And my advisor was like, hey, like you have to change something because you have to maintain that 3.5 GPA, otherwise you're out of the program. And I was like, I need that. And how do I do that? And essentially it was like, all right, you have to kind of reroute yourself. Instead of taking all the med school prerequisites, you're gonna have to find something else. And in a way, that was a blessing in disguise for myself, because I knew in my heart, deep down, I did not want to become an MD or a DO. No offense. That was just my calling. I knew I could not do that. And it was more of a time thing. I couldn't spend the gracious 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of med school, 4 years of residency afterwards. I didn't have that commitment in me. I knew that. And so it was a tough pill to swallow, but it's something I had to swallow and open up to my parents about that, hey, this is not for me. Maybe I use that, 3.5 GPA route as an excuse. But deep down, I knew that was my intuition, that I knew I didn't want to do this. So then it ultimately came down to junior year of, undergrad for me to explore myself and to really explore what kind of field I wanted to go into in healthcare, physician assistant, sports medicine, PA, physician assistant, dentistry, optometry, and things like that. And then it's just more shadowing, getting the experience. And then ultimately senior year is when I really decided that, hey, I think optometry is my field that I actually enjoy, I like. And so senior year, I just spent enjoying it and just writing it through. And then it was more like, how do I satisfy the prerequisites for optometry school? So I took a gap year and I pursued school. I picked that route because it's a great mix of everything. And in any talk, I always say this, it's a mix of fashion, business, and medicine. And that's something I relate to wholeheartedly. So there's a lot that meets the eye itself.
Wait, in optometry or?
Yeah.
How does it involve fashion?
Fashion in terms of like glasses.
Oh, okay.
Right? So glasses itself is your jewelry in a sense. It tells you who you are. It expresses, what kind of style you have, and it dictates what you wear sometimes.
Sure.
And then there's a lot more that meets the eye than just the eye. So we can diagnose a lot of things systematically through the eye. And then business-wise, it's sales. So
yeah, it absolutely is.
It relies on a lot of factors, and it's a weird culmination of everything that I've aspired and what I've learned in school. And I love it.
Nice. So I guess did that give you basically the opportunity to explore the rest of your passions vis-a-vis dance? Because I know when we were younger, we were always doing these community shows here in Nassau and like the Queen's Temple and whatnot, like the Ganesh Temple. So like, when did that come back into play?
So that was always in play. I think in the background, that was always in play. I started dancing when I was a kid. My first song I danced to was Ikpalka Jina from Kohana Pyara Hai. And that's where I get my aspirations from, is from Hrithik Roshan. And after that, it just aspiring for my cousins to, cultural events, and then going to school, actually right here, Bali Arts in Hicksville, and then just training from my peers, and then being involved in college. Like I danced in college too, so that did have an impact on my GPA in a certain extent, but I'm always grateful for those experiences with the teams I was with. And then I made my own team. And that kind of gave me some little bit of an edge with my advisors because it was helping to get outreach of that program itself, of Macaulay Honors. So it was nice to kind of connect all the CUNY schools in a dance team and then, win and, succeed. And thankfully, they're actually on their 10th year as of this year.
Oh, nice.
So we started that and it's thriving. So it's great. And then, I just carry that ever since. It helped me to get through school. I did take a break during optometry school to focus on school and school itself. And then when I moved back to Long Island, it kind of found me again. I found it, and we're back to, doing shows, gigs, weddings, videos, and workshops.
Yeah, so you have a workshop coming up, right?
Yes. So I just launched my workshops in New York City. I started it in May. I'm trying to do once a month. And it's something that I was hounded to do, but I just never had that motivation to, because I did enjoy dancing. I do enjoy private choreo and, teaching clients and things like that. But then it came to a point where I love dancing around people, and my thrill comes from seeing others dance. It really does. Like, I could dance and, do this and that and show off, but it's always fun when you could do it with people around you. And as my mom is a math teacher, I did get that learning gene from her. So I do love to teach. I do love to learn. And I think that allowed me to do that. First workshop was a great success, a great turnout with a lot of family and friends, as expected from the first workshop. And the next one is actually next week, June 21st. Obviously, depending on when this podcast comes out, you'll either see a video of that or you'll hear about it. But we're definitely
going to try and get this out before then. If it is out, the link is going to be in the description to sign up for the workshop. You better do it, as well as all of Mohit's socials. But so let's take us through it, because for most of us that are interested in dance and the arts, we've never actually been to a workshop. Like, we'll see like a video. It's like, like Nidhi Reddy or Vanita Hazari or someone like that, where it's like you just see an Instagram video of someone doing like some bomb like choreo with like 20 people behind them. But that's the end result. So like, what does a workshop entail?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd be ignorant if I didn't give my shout outs to a lot of these instructors that have kind of paved the way. There's something I did shout out in my first workshop, because I think without them, and I've attended many of their workshops, I would not be inspired to do that or learn from how they do things. So like Rohit, Toshida, Titi, Vinny, Asir, and even like Shamak when he was, doing his classes.
Yeah.
And
that was such an upsell. Like Shamak Davar's coming was like the highlight of the early 2000s.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's still an icon in this day in India, and still he has that influence here in United States and in New York. And there's so many other up and coming, even Karishma, like not up and coming. She's there now, but a lot of these, choreographers are coming out and showing their own style. And so it's something that I take aspiration for, and I learned from them. And I'm grateful for their experiences to allow me to do my style and my way of teaching and going from there. So, doing a workshop, the biggest thing is, what's the experience that you want? For me, it's about energy. I think energy is very contagious. And I think when you're going to a workshop for the first time, you are nervous, right? A lot of these people that come to the workshops are scared to come because they can't dance. And I've had a lot of people, tell me that, and I'm like, exactly. That's the point of why you should come, because you cannot dance, or you think you cannot dance. Allow me to help you get there. Allow me to, or challenge me to make you don't have two left feet. You don't have two left feet. You're walking with a left foot and right foot. You can dance with both feet. And so that's a challenge I take on myself. And then, the biggest thing, and, I'm a creator in certain ways. So I do like to make things into a project. So, and make it as interactive as possible. So for me, I think as a workshop, obviously finding a banger mix is a big thing for me, because that kind of allows my ideas to flow and allows me to create a choreo that is very seamless, that flows well, so that people that do learn it, it'll be easier for them. So that's one thing about me is, and you'll hear this more in my journey, but I don't call myself a dancer. I call myself more of an entertainer, and in a way where I've never had the education of dance.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd be ignorant for those that are actual skilled dancers that have gone to school to dance, that have been trained from a lot of gurus and other, people like that. I've been influenced by them, but I haven't learned from them. Yeah. So for me, I do find myself more as an entertainer where I can dance, maybe don't have that full skill potential, but it's all about that nakre, right? That look that you give off, the energy that you give off, and that's what's entertainment. Yeah. That's literally what entertainment is. And, that one of the bigger entertainers that is popping off right now and that I see on my feed all the time is Chris Brown, right? Mm-hmm. As much as, he has his stuff going on, but just as an entertainer aspect of itself, his vocals, but his energy and his dance moves and what he can do on stage is contagious. And that's what I look to do on the dance floor, but I want to share that with the people around me. So a banger mix, energy is a big thing, and then just having the ability to teach and connect with those that are struggling and how to improve that and making the steps good, not like hard, but a good skill level for everyone to enjoy. So I try to mix everything from beginner, intermediate, and advanced steps.
So like I walk in on the 21st of June, make sure to sign up, coming in, gym clothes, sneakers, and you're setting us up with choreo. We're learning the choreo. It's a full class on it. And then what happens? Like literally for like those of us that have never been to one.
Yeah. So that's the cool part. These workshops are going to be different every time. We try to have a big group involved at the end, and which is what I'm aspiring to do, which is a little bit different than other workshops because I want to have that community. I want to show off that we're dancing together. So when I do choreograph, I create it so that we're individually dancing, but we come together as a group and share that moment together. So yes, we'll warm up. You're going to learn the choreo. We'll go back and forth, do a lot of repetitions. And at the end, it's time to show off. And that showing off isn't really a time to show off. It's more for you to build your awareness and to build your on-camera presence and to, just enjoy that experience one-to-one with the camera and be like, let's have a good time. And that's a big thing, I think, for me is being on camera. You need to be able to interact with the camera and have that moment. But people also enjoy the spotlight that they don't get it. So this is their moment to actually enjoy that and get that moment and have fun with it. Just have fun with it. I tell my patients and I tell my, friends and, all my, I don't know what to call them. Like my
students is technically an accurate term.
I guess so. I guess my students all the time that, just have fun with it. Just smile, because once that smile goes away, that's when you messed up. And that's when they will know they messed up. So if they don't know, all I know is that I tell my students, only I will know that you messed up. The world will never know until I know, because I'm the one that taught you. So I know the steps, they don't. So I think, in this space, it's the platform is great on social media for dance. I think we need more of it, and we need more encouragement. Unfortunately, when you involve social media, there's also a lot of negativity involved with it. So as an instructor, you need to have that right balance of, song choices and choreo, and not make it too hard where no one can do it. Mm-hmm. I think that's also a problem, that we're not very cognizant of who is coming. And it's hard because when you're popping off like many of these instructors, they don't know who's coming and what their skill level is. Yeah. And then the students that are coming come for different purposes, whether it's to connect, to network, to meet new people, to learn the choreo, just to escape from their day-to-day, from their 9 to 5, and just enjoy a moment, or just come for a Zumba or a class workout. So it really varies.
No, absolutely. So you were mentioning that you don't have, like you were saying the training-wise, your history of training. You said Bali Arts. What other training have you had? I'm assuming that by that you're saying you didn't do like Kathak and BNat and stuff like that.
No, it was mostly, but just by experience. I first was more of a Bollywood fanatic. Yep. So just growing up, we would dance in the living rooms, at weddings, at random uncle and auntie's houses. Just it was just a moment to express yourself. And I think I was definitely the shy guy, but when I started dancing, you got me. And then after Bali Arts and doing all that in college, I joined a dance team called NYU Pandemonium. Mm-hmm. Way back, Bhangra hip hop was big for us as an all males dance team, and that really kind of accelerated my Bhangra, and I really fell in love with that. And that was just a coincidence. I had one of my family friends who went to NYU, and he was over my house one day, and he was like, "Hey, NYU Pandemonium is doing tryouts the next day. I think you should come." I was like, "You know what? It's a Sunday. Like, I have to go to classes on Monday. I'm good." Or rather, it was a Saturday. And so he was like, "Dude, I'm literally there, East 14th Street. My dorm is right there. Just stay with me, go to the tryouts, and see what happens." I'm like, "All right, fine, let's do it." And that's where it took off. I did 2 years with NYU Pandemonium, even though I did not even go to NYU Pandemonium. I was one of the younger ones in that whole group, which was very weird dynamic as a undergrad brown kid that probably is hitting puberty right now and like just going through it and learning kind of a new skill, a new dance form, and being the youngest one there, very naive, didn't drink, didn't do anything, like just fresh out of high school into a kind of like that was my like fraternity in a way. That was my frat. Like there's a lot of I&D and other things, but dance and dance teams was my my company. And after that, I became involved with Wanted Ashiks, which
I remember that name.
yeah. So Wanted Ashiks was again another all male Bollywood fusion dance team, and we did everything from Bollywood, Bhangra, hip hop, crazy gimmicks, crazy themes, and I kind of caught them at the tail end of their like peak, but again that allowed me to create those bonds with a lot of OGs in the field of dance and expose myself to even more hype stuff as well. And then I catered to then creating my own dance team, which is a Bollywood fusion dance team called Macaulay Divane. And
right, and that's the one you said is still going 10 years strong now.
And I started that my senior year of undergrad. And I wish I started that earlier to enjoy another year of it. But even that 1 year of it, we kind of created a foundation for it so that it could build and grow. And, thankfully it's 10 years strong now. And, after that, it's just more of just learning from your peers and just keep doing it, keep working on your craft, and then it just slowly transitioned into private choreo. So private wedding gigs, groomsmen, bridesmaids, first dances for couples, into Bharat dances, and then just all word by mouth has kept going from there, and then here we are.
All right, that's fantastic. So have you ever felt from I think this is a question I'm going to just add into every podcast for everyone, given the topics that we discuss. How'd you ever feel about, people being like, "Ye sab kyun kar rahe ho, doctor bano?" Like the doctor is prestigious, dancer is like, ew.
Yeah. It's interesting because, a friend of mine, he actually gave me this great advice, and he was like, "Listen, your passion is dance, right? And you should make a living off your passions. You should. But you need stability as well. Because without stability, you will lose your passion." Mm-hmm. So dance is great. And for those pursuing dance as a career, kudos to you because it's hard. With any entertainment industry that you want to pursue, it's hard, right? You really have to sell what you can do. And dance is still not there yet. My goal is to bring dance to that level where dancers get paid what they deserve. We'll get into why, but that stability was a big thing for me. And having that 9 to 5 in a way, or having a stable career, was important for me so that I could live on and do my passion. And so it's weird how life works, but having that Indian mindset and the Indian kind of narrow-mindedness helped me because it allowed me to find a passion in terms of medicine while maintaining my passion for dance. And now that I'm able to see my patients in the day and work on that, my Instagram bio says doctor by day, dancer all night. And I really is. I breathe, listen, and vibe to music all parts of the day, obviously without seeing patients, but that keeps me sane. So I get to work, and I keep my sanity through dance and through music.
Nice. So you said that, I guess you're not pursuing a career in dance, but sort of you're starting the workshops, you're doing all of these other things, you've built a bunch of teams. do you have a I guess a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan that includes making dance stable so you can, I guess, if you want to, stop you doing optometry?
No.
Okay.
I will never. I don't have a 5-year plan. I think right now I'm going with the flow. I do have some dreams as to what I can use dance for, in a sense of bringing better opportunities for dancers and for those instructors and for those people that are putting more time into it than I am, to recognize them and build them into bigger companies or bigger models for corporate events or for other bigger wedding gigs or bigger events that they can show off their skill to. Again, it's a community out there, and I want to lift the entire community in that sense. I'm a dancer, and I think that's great, but for me, I don't think I'm the best to do that, to put myself out there, but I do aspire to put those that deserve it probably a little bit more, because of just what time and skill and energy and money that they put into their career, and give them the opportunity, but also expanding that to different forms of entertainment, musicians, DJs, all these people that do this for a living, to amplify that South Asian community, but diversify them in a sense of where they're doing it. I don't want a South Asian DJ playing at a wedding. I want a South Asian DJ playing at a corporate event outside at this protest, or just at like a concert, right? Things like that is important for me, and I think giving that platform and that space for them is important. So, as not a 5-year plan, there's no plan for it. I think I'm just going with the flow, but that's definitely something I keep in the back of my mind.
Okay, so kind of like basically building a network or an opportunity situation. Because like, how are you planning on basically leveling up the income potential of it? Because I'm stuck in a studio apartment, basically barely making rent, but I'm following my passion, and I followed my passion so hard to the point where I would have to literally make a U-turn and go get remarketable skills.
Yeah. This this conversation has actually been around many platforms in different ways, but there is it's tough actually, because I've been on both ends of where I'm being hired as a dancer, and then I've also been on the other hand where I am the agent for getting dancers hired through a person for a concert, a gig, or something like that. So I have to fight for the pay for the dancers. And I'm ashamed to say this, because at times it had to be like, oh, it's a marketing stunt. You'll get your name out there. You'll get your dancing skills out there. And that's cool back then.
You'll get exposure, beta.
Yeah. Sorry, but that.
Yeah.
Respectfully, that. And if you're watching that and you think that's going to work for your dancers, it's not going to work. Or for anyone in any industry, in any field, it will not work. And I think that motto has to be applied to every single artist.
Yeah.
Know your worth. I've been declined from many private choreo because of my price endlessly.
Sure.
But it's not outrageous. But I know the time and effort that I'm doing to make your wedding a better one, to make your dance a memorable one. And a lot of these artists take it into their own as if it's their own wedding, right? And they will put in that work for it. And listen, money talks. If you're going to pay us, you're going to pay somebody, they're going to realize and put more work into it.
Sure.
They have to. And unfortunately, there's some dancers that just don't see their potential. So they lowball their value.
Yeah.
And when you lowball the value, it lowballs the whole industry.
Yes.
And then on the other side of it, clients do not see the potential, or they don't see that worth. And when they don't see that worth, they're like, I'm not going to pay you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, dancing is a skill. All right. Yeah. You see people dance at a wedding, on the dance floor, at the reception. It's different from an actual dancer. Yeah. And you see that because you don't just get the dance itself. You get everything involved with it, the energy, the nakre. There's so much to it than just the dance itself that you don't notice until you actually compare the two. And that's a big thing that we have to kind of expose, that what is a real dancer and what do they bring to the table versus like your friend that just dances for fun.
Yeah, well, how do you protect the market? Because the market is essentially also divided up by the service provider, the dancer, So it's like you could have a dancer that's like, you know, super high up there, quality dancer, but if you're just looking to hire someone to do a Ganesh Vandana for an event, like what's stopping you from getting someone that's just looking for exposure, or someone that's not that good but is going to do it for like 1/100th of the price? Like how do you protect the market? Because that's an issue in every industry.
Yeah. I mean, the market is huge, right? So there's a lot of up and coming artists. There's a lot of up and coming artists. There's a lot of people that are aspiring to be DJs and learning from other significant DJs or even dancers or stuff like that. So they have that, but in the market itself, it's tough. You have to start low and make your way and build your rep and build your experience. And if you don't do that, then you have no basis. You have no referrals. You have nothing. So I think for a lot of these up and coming artists, it's important to like know the field that you're getting into. Don't go highball yourself as if you're some hot shot. But clients should know that too.
Yeah. So
collectively.
So how are you looking to collectively kind of rising tide raises all ships?
It's tough. I think again, it's not like a one person do all. Like I think it has to be a foundation for all of us. But at the same time, if there are collective agencies or things like that, there is like SAGA for actors and actresses, right? So why not have the same for artists or for entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are all independent, which is beautiful. But in the same way, I think there's some sort of representation that's needed to lift all these artists and entertainment companies up. And you take a cut, this and that. I get it, but like that is, I think, one of the ways to kind of uplift the whole community and the whole South Asian scene, so that there's no shortcuts anymore. Like, you get the friends and family discount, this and that. I get it, but look, you're getting a service, and that service is someone's hard work and time. And without that, you're just being ignorant at that point.
Yeah, because you're not just getting the 45-minute performance. You're getting how would you break down all the hours for it?
All right, so let's just say a gig, right? Let's just say a wedding reception. Let's say it's 10 guys doing a 5-minute dance performance. Let's say 1 minute and 30 seconds each song. Let's say 3 to 4 songs, right? So when you look at 3 to 4 songs, you look at first of all, what kind of vibe do you want? You give me the songs that you want. Give me a list of songs. I'll give you my suggestions, right? So the initial, there's no initial fee. There's no, the consultation is just the consultation. Let's feel you out. And then it basically goes from me for a base price of 1 by number of songs. And then it goes by number of, the people is pretty standard. It doesn't really matter because you're just, the same thing you're doing with one person, just multiplying it by 10. And it just depends on how complicated you want to get it, right? Formations and choreo. And obviously the more complicated it gets, then the more sessions that you will have. So basically there's a base fee that you have to charge, and then basically it goes per session based off how many sessions, because that's your time. That base fee includes choreo, the time for choreo, and it really depends on how good you are in that kind of genre of music. Typically it's pretty easy, and especially with a lot of weddings, people don't want complicated choreo. So as a dancer and as a teacher, you can make choreo pretty well. But again, you as a good instructor, you have to be able to cater to who your clients are, who your people that you're teaching are. You can't just teach them the way you know things. You have to adapt to the way they learn things. And I think that's what makes a good dancer, is that you're able to adapt, right? Like a DJ. A good DJ does not play his own sets. He plays what the vibe on the dance floor is.
Sure.
What they are looking at. The crowd management is a big thing as a DJ. And this is why, a lot of my DJ friends that I know of, they're so good at that. And that's where my referrals come from. Because I know if someone comes on a dance floor, they recognize that and they're going to play that music for them. Or they know if the groomsmen did a fire song for their groomsmen entrance, they're going to play that shit at the reception. Why? Because they know there's a connection behind that, right? Mm-hmm. So that is what a DJ takes notes of. And as a dancer, you have to be able to take notes of what people can do when you're teaching them and make them look better, right? Sure. Essentially, you're giving your services, but you want them to look good of your work. And if you can't do that, then it looks like a shit show. So you have to be very understanding of that and adapt to what the clients can learn and then build from that, and that builds your own reputation, and you grow from that.
Nice. So do you do a lot of like either performing yourself or choreographing like the bridesmaids, groomsmen?
Yeah. So I feel like I've discounted myself a lot in terms of friends and family. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of friends and family gigs, and rightfully so, because I care about them. It's something that's funny because sometimes I reflected on, have I been invited to a wedding just to dance?
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
And that's a touchy subject because I think, as a dancer, you develop relationships and friendships with people where, you think of them more as something more than just a dancer, and you want to show up for that.
Sure.
To support them in their life and their beginning of a beautiful journey ahead. And at times, you have to kind of swallow that pill in a sense of like, did I just use my time for somebody that I think is a friend, but they just use me to dance?
Yeah.
Right? Or to entertain. And that thought process comes around here and there, not often. And thankfully, I'm blessed with amazing friends that have had a beautiful wedding, and I'm lucky enough to be a part of that. And dance at that. And that's my token of our friendship. And that's my, not gift to them, but that's my kind of courtesy for them. Where I want to do that for you and make your beautiful week a better one.
Yeah.
Right? But then on the other hand of it, I think it's important that people recognize the amount of time and skill and experience that you have and pay that forward. Right. I'm not out here marketing that. Like I'm here. Like if you're a friend of mine and you want to hire me for a wedding or anything, I'm there. But again, cost matters, and you have to know your value.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of a story. Peter Hurley, he's a famous portrait photographer. He does headshot sessions. His headshots are famous for if you wanted to get into Hollywood, like a iconic white background, etc. And he charges, I think last time I looked, it was like $3,000 for a headshot session. And he has a rule. He's like, if I'm not getting paid, my finger is not going on the clicky button. It's like if someone's even like, if I'm like at a friend's place and they're like, hey, can you take my phone and take a picture of us? No, he hands it to the person next to him to take the photo. It's like you just have to build that firewall for your stuff.
Yeah, and unfortunately, especially in the South Asian culture, everything comes down to negotiations. And I hate negotiations. As a person who aspires to lift up the community, I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
I don't ask for free tickets.
Yeah.
I pay for my ticket, and I proudly do. For any event, any concert, I will be glad to pay, because at the same time, vice versa, if I'm doing my workshops, how do I break even? How do I make money?
Yeah.
If you're not going to support me, that's the way you support.
Yeah.
It really is. It comes down to that. It's not saying like, oh, throw $100, this and that. Like, no. But if you're going to support somebody, you have to pay. And unfortunately, in the South Asian scene, it's like, oh, let me get free tickets to come here and come that. But what they don't realize is that they're spending their own money to make an experience, right? If you're throwing a concert, that takes a lot of money. If you're hiring artists, that takes a lot of money. You can't just be giving out free tickets to people as if you have expendable money, which maybe you do, and that's good for you. But if you want to make money or break even, you have to have that support.
Yeah.
And I think
at the very least, it has to be a fair exchange.
Yeah.
Because it's like some people will just get comped in because they think they're special, and other people are like, okay, well, I have to provide value. Like Jazzy B came 2 summers ago, I think it was. Like, I was on stage. I had no business being on stage based on the ticket that I purchased, but who was involved very heavily setting all that up, a lot of the promotion for so that's the exchange, would get me that access. But then if calls right now because one of his buddies or someone he knows is calling because they need legal help, I'm pausing the recording and I'm taking that call. And you just saw that someone else just called on
Correct.
that. And so that's the kind of actual community support we need to be giving each other, is what I feel like.
Yeah. Now, it's not a community service where, in a sense where you're just pro bono everything. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But it's that mutual respect
Yes.
that you have, that we're working together, And not that you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's not like that. And nor should you look at business like that. But I think it's
even exchange of value.
Correct.
With like a little bit of like maybe a tiny bit of a courtesy discount or something, like where it's not like $10 here or there.
correct.
Like,
And that's a big thing. And in a way, the South Asian entertainment scene is very intertwined with each other. It makes the market very small. It makes who you know very small. And so reputation is a big thing in that industry itself. But at the same time, like I have my go-to DJs, my go-to everything that I have in my back pocket, because if I need it for my wedding one day, I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, I just hope that everyone that is doing their business keeps it business, right? That's the big thing. When you involve like, oh, I did this for you, you didn't do that for me, like that's all bullshit, right?
Yeah.
That's all like you just trying to navigate through a hole that you don't know where it leads to. So I think it's very important that we be very, very true to, our value and what we offer, and to stick it at that. And I hope those that are watching this, if you have a wedding coming up, if you're planning an event or something like that, please understand the stuff that the vendor is providing you, because sometimes it can be bullshit. Like if you don't know what you're looking for, or if you don't have the right people around you to tell you this is good, this is bad, then you're gonna be in a problem. But if you're vetting the right vendors and the right companies, you will easily get what you want. Yeah. It's funny because I'm not a hands-on guy. Like I'm not a handyman. So if I try to fix something, it'll take me like 5 hours.
Yeah.
But if you pay that person, a handyman, to do that in a fraction of the time, why not? Yeah, you spend a little bit of money, but guess what? You didn't spend your time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Someone else spent their time to do your work. And that's the world, right? So we have to trust that, and trust that those people that you're hiring will pull up for you and do your work that you wanted in a much better and effective way.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah.
Exactly. Like I found a guy off TaskRabbit, like same. I can do some handy stuff, not everything. And so like at this point, I just call him anytime there's something that I know is going to take me a couple hours to figure out. These sound panels are perfectly level.
Yeah.
I would have probably put like fucking 17 extra holes in the wall if I tried to do it myself. He came in, he set up a laser level. And he readjusted based on like, oh, this one's, he's a Russian dude, so he talks in metric. He's like, this one's 2 millimeters off. I'm gonna lower it. Like when you hire someone that's specialized and respect their specialization, you get a much better result.
Yep. And it's funny you mentioned specialty, but that correlates with my optometric side too, right? In terms of what you specialize in, what you do for a living. I tell my patients all the time that, I take pride in my care that I give to my patients. And yeah, you could go anywhere else. You can, and you will go, and you will compare, and you will see the level of care that I give. Exactly. And that applies to both in the exam room and then on the dance floor. Yep. And I think that is a, similar foundation, as weird as that is. But that's one thing, as any entertainment industry member, that you care, right? You get paid. You have to make a living, but you care of the stuff that you put out, and it has to be reciprocated. They have to understand that what you give out has to correlate with what you get in as well from the client.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing. I remember seeing this meme. You'll appreciate this. It's like, client that paid you $500. I need you to give your heart and soul to this mission. It is the most important thing. I'm giving you a lot of money. And then it's like, client that paid you $50,000. Yeah, just call me when it's done. Yeah. Because it's just a different level of understanding.
Absolutely. That's beautiful, the way you said that.
Yeah. Credit to memes.
That is, that's a fact. It really is. Like those that are willing to pay more, they know what they're paying for, and just get it done. No headaches. Don't have to blink an eye. Nothing. Boom. Done. All right. Whereas those that are paying $500, like that client is gonna be stressing over those $500 to make sure that's the best bang for their buck. Yep. Right. So it depends on the structure of, and the size of, the event and everything like that. So it varies. But in terms of workshops wise, I don't like to beg people to come. I think it's a big thing that you should have people want to come. because they see what's going to come and enjoy that moment and have a safe space to dance and just be there. So those are the aspirations that I have for this workshops that are going to be coming up. And then hopefully with that, it'll tie into bigger projects eventually and get others involved in the South Asian industry.
Okay, nice. So how long are you, like, how do you see the growth of these workshops, or what are you thinking of doing with them over the next few months?
Well, good question. Well, a little sneak peek is, there's something in July going on. So this workshop that I have in June will be worked towards hopefully doing a bigger project kind of outdoors in July. And then in August is actually my birthday class, August 9th. So that will be a fun class to kind of celebrate my birthday and my sister's birthday, but also just get all my friends and family together to do something I love. And I know all the friends and family that I have, in a way, dance has been our core memory. Sure. And we've had some instances where we've had that one song or that one dance that we've shared. And that brings us back to our childhood, our recent past, or anything like that. So that's where my avenues of experiences come in, and I think that would be a fun class. And then honestly, just go with the flow. It keeps me sane. It keeps me something to do outside of work, and I like to just release content. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of me and a lot of us and the Dance with Mo community out there.
Okay, that's awesome. So, if someone's out there right now and they want to get into dance, but it just like feels too cringe for them because they're just stuck in their 9-to-5 brain waves, what would you recommend them to do? Like if they're just they're just afraid. They're not going to come to a workshop. They might like dance while like they're jamming out in their kitchen. Like how do they get out of their shell?
Well, the biggest thing, and it's a saying, is like dance like no one's watching, right? You have to either, if you're a friend and you're a friend who's afraid to do that, drag them out of their house, drag them out of their comfort zone. I tell all my students this, that if you feel comfortable while dancing, you're doing it wrong, right? If you're in a workshop and you feel comfortable with the steps, you're likely doing it wrong. You're shortcutting the step to make you feel comfortable. So when I say that is, if you feel uncomfortable doing a step, that's good because you're expanding yourself. You're doing something you've never done before. So that will make you feel uncomfortable. That's when anything that you learn. And I think, how do you do that? It starts with yourself, right? You have to be open to just let go, right? Be vulnerable. Let go. You will make mistakes, but sometimes you have to make mistakes to be better and grow from it. And then you're going to be like, damn, I actually did a pretty good job. Yeah. I like this. And once you do it the first time, and that's what your parents will tell you as a kid, just do it. Yeah. When you do it once, you get in that water and you start swimming or just start waggling your feet and you can float. You're like, oh, it's not bad. And then slowly you build it, right? So it starts, it's funny to relate to a baby and the first steps of walking, but in a way, it's the same thing with dancing. You just got to put your shoes on, get on the dance floor, listen to the music, and just enjoy it.
Okay. No, that's a great analogy. Just essentially, just accept it and jump in. Hold your nose and go.
Right, because I think the biggest thing is the fear of judgment. Yeah. Right? You let go of that. Forget who's watching. Again, like I say, dance like no one's watching, but forget about it. This is not for them. This is not for anyone but for you. And that's a responsibility I have. If you're paying me and coming to my workshop, my responsibility is to give it back to you and to make you look good and feel good and just be comfortable. So it's a safe space, and I think anyone in any choreographers should create a space for that.
Now let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Someone that's like almost there and trying to be professional, but like they just can't seem to get to that specific level, like what we would call in like the Indian classical music community, like TED-Av. Like, how do you help someone get there? Because at that point, they're trying to dance not just for themselves, but for the appreciation of others so they can get hired. What do you do on that end?
One, always keep working on your craft. All right. You're not perfect, right? A lot of these amazing instructors and choreographers, they're always building and always growing, right? So number one is just don't stop, right? Keep on learning, keep on dancing, keep on keeping yourself healthy, right? But the second thing, it starts with us. We can't be greedy. We have to be willing to give other people the opportunity to actually grow, right? A lot of us are pushing each other down so we could go higher, right? That's okay, but it's not going to help that next person, right? And one day when we get old, who's going to carry into our steps? Who's going to follow our steps, right? And so that's a big thing I've seen in my generation where there are not many kids that are dancing these days, right? So I was at a Sangeet yesterday and I saw two beautiful girls, I think like 8 and 12 dancing Bhangra, and they were just having a great time. And my job was to make sure I encourage them and applaud them. Like, great job, keep on going, right? Because if they look at me dancing, I want them to be inspired, but I want to make sure they keep on going, right? So for those that are professionals or dancers looking to make it to the next jump, instructors and choreographers that are out there doing this should be able to work and collaborate and build each other up, right? There's no winning if we keep pushing other people down. Yeah. We need to build a community where we can collaborate, do better, bigger projects. And with that, the whole industry should do better.
Well said. Well said. So if people want to find you, where should they go?
So you can find me on Instagram. I am Mohit Batra is my, I guess, my personal and my dancer profile. In my doctor aspect, Dr.Mohit Batra is my professional optometric page where you can follow me for more eye advice, any eye questions or anything like that. You can always shoot me a DM.
All right. So whether you want better vision or to see yourself be a better dancer, you know where to go. Thanks for coming on the pod, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for creating a space for us to talk, and cheers to the next one.
Yeah. See you in season 2.
Sounds good. Awesome, man.